All right, we're about to start. Jacob. Good evening and welcome to the West Milton Council meeting on August 11, 2015. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then stay standing for the invocation from Pastor Jacob Kessling from the Community Grace Brethren Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. God, we thank you so much for the blessing it is to serve you and the people here in West Milton. Lord, we thank you for the freedom that we have, that we can pray to you out loud, we can say Jesus' name, and we just thank you for that as well. God, we're just thinking about sacrifice tonight and the sacrifices that have been made. First, Lord, I thank you for Jesus who sacrificed his life so that we may have life abundant. God, second, I just want to thank you for the sacrifice of those in our past and present military who have sacrificed so much, and the families. And so, Lord, we just pray you will bless them. And those who are deployed now, God, I pray you protect them. And Lord, just protect the families that are here as well. God, for those who are around this table and in this room, I pray you would just bless them and give them wisdom as they are going to make decisions tonight. God, I pray you would just give them clarity of thought. Lord, I pray you would help them put their selfish ambitions aside and that they would make decisions that would be the best for the city here of West Milton. So thank you so much, God, for what you're doing and what you're going to do tonight. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Pastor Jacob. This meeting is now called to order. May I get roll call, please?
Mayor Francis?
Here.
Cobb?
Here.
Vogel?
Here.
Zimmerman?
Here.
Miller?
Here.
Norman?
Here.
And British? Here.
Hey, thank you. This time I'll entertain any motions to excuse absent council members.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Donald Dorman from the workshop meeting, which would have been, I don't have the date in front of me, from our July workshop
I
meeting.
think it was July 28th.
28th, there we go.
I'll second.
Okay, before you is a motion made to excuse Don Dorman for the workshop on July 28th, duly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Cobb?
Yes.
Vogel?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Norman? British? Yes. And Mayor Francis?
Yes. Okay. Council received the minutes for the July 14th meeting. Is there any discussion or motions? None.
I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes as written for July 14th council meeting. Second.
Okay, before you is a motion duly seconded to adopt the council meeting minutes. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Cobb?
Yes.
Vogel?
Abstain.
Tinnerman?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Dorman?
Yes.
British?
Yes.
And Mayor Francis?
Yes. Okay. Moving on to the Community Pride Award winners. As summer is, about halfway over, we still like to recognize those members in our community that spend the time to show their pride in our community. And one way we do that is with Community Pride Awards, in which members of the staff here at the municipality go out and recognize those houses that have gone above and beyond and done certain items to show their pride in taking care of their property. So tonight I'm very pleased to present the awards to Tony and Betty Hughes, Billy and Pamela Dennis, and Katie Klipstein. So if they can meet me up front, I'll present their awards.
What's that?
These are the two boys that need to be up here. They take care of the yard.
Teach my son how to do that, will you? Billy and Pam?
Yes. Thank you.
She got more work. Over here.
Thank you.
You want her to come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh, go for it, Tracy.
There. Okay. All right.
Got it, thank you.
We'll just do one big group picture. Wherever you want to see.
Hold on, we're moving.
Good. Like that? All right. Again,
We're gonna take a few just to make sure. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Right, 1, 2, 3. That's good.
Thanks for coming.
Betty, somewhere in there, there's a joke about still hanging around with this guy, but.
Yeah.
All the time.
I meant to nominate somebody else.
Yeah, it's good. Probably he did.
Threw that out there.
Betty, you keep up the good work, do something.
I know. Okay, now that 2/3 of the room left, okay. All right. We'll wait a minute for Manager Klein. While we're waiting on that, is there any comments from citizens tonight regarding legislation? None? All right. Manager Klein, is there any correspondence to council?
None this evening, Mayor.
All right, then we'll move right into our ordinances tonight. Ms. Brush, first one up is Resolution CM-15-26 for ODOT paving.
It's a resolution to authorize municipal manager to execute pertinent documents with the Ohio Department of Transportation for paving work on State Route 48. Whereas the municipality of West Milton, Ohio received a state route maintenance agreement from the Ohio Department of Transportation, and whereas the municipality of West Milton, Ohio believes it is in the public's best interest for the Ohio Department of Transportation to maintain and keep in repair the State Route 48. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the Council for the Municipality of West Milton hereby approves the State Route 48 paving agreement attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporates the attached exhibit as part of the resolution. Section 2, the Council for the Municipality recognizes the importance of maintaining and repairing state routes and believes that the agreement is beneficial to the municipality. Section 3, the manager is hereby provided with the specific authority to execute this State Route 48 paving agreement on behalf of the municipality of West Milton. Section 4, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force on and after its passage.
Thank you, Ms. Bush. This time, is there any motions?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for Resolution CM-15-26.
I'll second.
Okay. Council, there's been a motion duly seconded to pass Resolution CM-15-26. Is there any discussion? Any explanation, Manager Klein?
There's a couple miles that's being planned for the next fiscal year for ODOT, so they always do all this paperwork well ahead of time. I believe it's only a couple miles. It's on the north end of town. It's actually a bigger project that also incorporates State Route 66 in parts and State Route 48. I can't we don't have, do you have specific details as to from point A to point B?
Yeah, the culvert that they're gonna be working on.
That's right.
On the north end of town, which is down near Still Acres. I'm gonna take that north in this particular one, and then 2 years from now, I think it might be in that legislation.
No, that's going to be another piece of 2 years. Expect another piece of legislation a year from now to take
Okay.
it south.
Oh, great.
Outstanding. All right. Roll call, please.
Cobb,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Tinnerman,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Francis.
Yes, the resolution is adopted.
Before you leave, I'll need signatures on the proper paperwork. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to Resolution CM-15-27. Ms. Brosh.
It's a resolution to authorize the municipal manager to contract with United Healthcare for employee health insurance. Whereas the municipality of West Milton has consistently provided health insurance benefits to its full-time employees and desires to continue to provide such benefits. And whereas the current health insurance contract ends August 31st, 2015. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the council authorizes the municipal manager to execute the proper contractual documents with United Healthcare for a policy term of 1 year from September 1st, 2015 through August 31st, 2016, at the various rates as provided by McGowan Brabender, Dayton, Ohio. Section 2, the council further authorizes the finance director to make necessary deposits into the proper employee health savings accounts not to exceed 50% of the deductible of the plan they choose. Such deposits shall be made in increments with 50% in September of 2015 and the remaining balance equally split in January and May of 2016. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any motions at this time?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to consider Resolution CM-15-27.
Thank you. Council, a motion regularly second to adopt Resolution CM-15-27 has been made. Is there any discussion? Manager
Just
Klein?
a small explanation. First off, on behalf of the employees, as every year, we thank you very much for offering employee health insurance. I'm happy to present tonight that you have read in the legislation. It has the words "the plan they choose." That's new language that's never been in our legislation. Say what you will about the ACA, but one of the rules in the ACA now allows small groups, and we're a very small group, to be able to choose some plans that can be offered. Basically, the plan will have an increase in premium no higher than 9.5% or as low as 2.2% of the current premium year. So we're very pleased with that. I'm also happy to announce that even if the employees choose the 9.5% plan, it's still several $1,000s cheaper than it was 2 years ago. So we're still seeing a savings if you would use the 2013 as your basis. We have 19 employees. I believe only like 4 or 5 of them have chosen so far. McGowan Brabender has brought in a representative to answer questions, and they'll be making those choices here in the next week or so. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Klein. Okay, roll call, please.
Cott?
Yes.
Vogel?
Yes.
Tinnerman?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Dorman?
Yes.
Grudich?
Yes.
And Mayor Francis.
Yes. And again, I would just echo Manager Klein, and this is a great benefit we offer to the employees who greatly appreciate it. So thank you, everyone, for your continued support, and I'm glad we're able to finally be able to give them options to fit what their healthcare needs are. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Resolution CM-15-28 for assessments. Ms. Brosh, would you please?
It's a resolution to certify delinquent water and sewer accounts, costs associated with removal of grass, weeds, litter, and sewer line repairs to the Miami County Auditor for collection. Whereas Chapter 743.04 of the Ohio Revised Code and Sections 51.27 and 52.134 of the West Milton Code of Ordinances provides that water and sewer charges that are not paid when due and payable shall be certified to the Auditor of Miami County, who shall place the charges on the tax duplicate as a tax lien or assessment against the parcel or lot for collection as other taxes. And whereas Chapter 93.44 of the West Milton Code of Ordinances provides that costs incurred for the removal of weeds, litter, and grasses shall be certified to the Auditor of Miami County, who shall place the charges on the tax duplicate as a tax lien or assessment against the parcel or lot for collection as other taxes. And whereas the municipality has been notified by the Miami County Auditor's Office that this year's deadline for the filing of such items certified for collection is September 14th, 2015. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the water and sewer accounts plus properties for which the municipality has removed weeds, litter, and grasses and made sewer line repairs listed herewith as Appendix A and incorporated herein by reference as if fully rewritten, shall be certified to the Miami County Auditor as tax liens in accordance with Sections 51.27, 52.134, and 93.44 of the West Milton Code of Ordinances. Section 2, the total charges against each lot and parcel shall be payable to the Director of Finance of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio by September 10th, 2015, and if not paid, shall thereafter be certified to the Miami County Auditor in the full amount shown, including a 5% service charge levied by the Auditor's Office for covering the expense of the collection, for placement on the tax duplicate as a tax lien against said property, and said charges shall be collected at the same time and manner as other taxes as provided by law. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed by law.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, at this time, is there any
I'd like to make a
motions?
motion to pass CM-15-28.
I'll second.
Seeing council members, a motion duly seconded has been made to adopt Resolution CM-15-28. Is there any discussion? Manager Klein, anything to add?
Just a description, you may have looked or may recognize certain addresses that have been consistently in the past are on here. It is slightly higher than last year. And a couple questions I've been asked from a few of you, why are the water sewers so high? Keep in mind that those who have water service get a minimum bill, and if they do not pay that, there's also a $30 late charge. So a minimum bill plus $30 every month is $55 at a minimum. Take that times 12 and you're already over $600. So the vast majority of all these homes are either empty, abandoned, or, as you notice on some of these names, bank-owned. I can't explain why the banks don't pay them. They simply don't. I've been told by people, I don't know if this is the truth, but I've been told that banks leave the houses as is until it gets to sheriff's sale. Once it gets to sheriff's sale and someone purchases the house, then for some reason the bank is then able to collect on some sort of insurance. You may know better than I. That's what I've been told. I don't know if that's the truth.
Through PMI insurance.
Probably. So banks just do that. And when you try to talk to someone at J.P. Morgan Chase, you're not going to get anybody that responds. So I hate to say it, but it's typical legislation that we go through every year.
Outstanding. Thank you, Manager Klein. I just have one question on the last one on the line. I believe they're entering into an agreement to pay it.
An agreement has been signed.
Okay.
Our plan right now is the first payment on the payment plan is due prior to September 14th.
Okay.
If it is made and looks like it's going to be followed, then that one will be dropped off the list.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, all of these will be dropped off.
If
She
they-
sends out bills tomorrow, and if
Right.
any of them are paid, then they're dropped off the list. But on that particular one, it will be dropped off the list and not assessed.
Okay. Thank you, Manager Klein.
You're welcome.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Cobb,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Tenderman,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Francis.
Yes. Resolution CM-15-28 is hereby adopted. Moving on to ordinance CM-15-29, charter ballot issues. Ms. Brosh.
It's an ordinance to place an issue on the November ballot asking the voters to consider revising Article 7, Section 7.02A, and Article 9, Section 9.01 of the West Milton Charter and declaring an emergency. Whereas the Village of West Milton, Ohio is a charter municipal corporation, and whereas in May of 2013, the West Milton Municipal Council established a charter commission for the purpose of reviewing the current charter of the municipality of West Milton and make any recommendations to revise said charter. And whereas the Charter Commission submitted a report attached and incorporated herein as a fully rewritten, recommending revisions to Article 7, Section 7.02A, and Article 9, Section 9.01 of the West Milton Charter, which the Commission believes are in the best interest of the municipality. And whereas the recommended revisions will alter specific dates and regulations in these specific sections of the Charter, therefore it is necessary for the revisions to be presented to the public at the next general election pursuant to Article 11, Section 11.03 of the West Milton Charter. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council for the Village of West Milton, Ohio as follows. Section 1, the Council for the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio hereby accepts the proposed revisions to Article 7, Section 7.02A, and Article 9, Section 9.01 of the West Milton Charter as presented in the report from the Charter Commission, effective January 1st, 2016, subject to the approval of the majority of the electors of the Municipality of West Milton upon the conduct of the general election scheduled for November 3rd, 2015. Section 2, the ballot measure for the election is as follows. Municipal Charter Amendments. The Municipality of West Milton, a majority affirmative vote is necessary for passage. It will read, shall Article 7, Section 7.02A of the Charter of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio be amended to allow the municipal managers to submit a budget for the ensuing fiscal year to council on or before the first council meeting in October of each year, instead of June as currently stated in the Charter. The next shall read, shall Article 9, Section 9.01 of the Charter of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio be amended from requiring 10 signatures to now requiring the signatures of not less than 30 qualified electors on the standard petition forms for the nomination of nonpartisan candidates for elective offices. The last will read, shall Article 9, Section 9.01 of the Charter of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio be amended to require petitions to be filed with the Board of Elections at least 90 days before the day of election, instead of the current 75 days. Section 3, the ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, safety, and general welfare, and shall be effective upon its passage.
Thank you, Ms. Brosh. Is there any motions before we have discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion for ordinance CM-15-1.
Thank you, sir.
And I'll second that for approval.
Outstanding. Council, a motion has been made to pass ordinance CM-15-29, and I'm sure there's some discussion. Just to give everyone some general overview before I turn it over to Manager Klein, about 2 years ago, Council decided it was time to revisit the charter, and so we commissioned a charter review. This charter review went through the entire charter and came back with Council with certain minor and major recommendations. Minor recommendations, most of those were spelling issues, so those we're able to correct it when we get it reprinted. The major issues need to go on the ballot in November for passage, and majority approval needs to happen for them to pass. As it was stated, the main ones are for budget. Instead of currently, it's due in June to the council, which is kind of premature considering you don't really know what's going to happen in January until later in the year. The Charter Commission believed it was appropriate to change that to October, which council, I'm willing to bet, would agree with that. The other changes that were recommended from the Charter Review Board was to change it instead of the current 75 days prior to election to 90 days. The reason for this request change is state law currently says 90 days. In our charter, it's 75, so for the Board of Elections to go off is 75. To make it easier for everyone that's dealing with any elections or anything, it's recommended to change that to 90. The last change is from 10 signatures to 30. It was the Commission's belief, and correct me if I'm wrong, Vice Mayor Tinnerman, because I believe you brought this point up, that if you cannot talk to 30 people to get 30 signatures to run on the ballot, then maybe you need to reconsider what you're doing, because 30 people in a town of a little less than 5,000 should be pretty easy to be able to do. Considering if you look around this room, there's 7 of us here, and that takes care of 6 signatures, and just as an example, I'm not saying that happens, it's an example. So that's where we are on those. Is there any discussion amongst council members before we turn it over to Manager Klein on any of that or any other concerns?
The only thing I would add is that as we met as the charter review, and there were multiple people from within the community, it was interesting to go through the charter. There was a lot of discussion of what could be changed, what might be helpful, and I guess I'm wanting just to give a plug to the last group that went over it, because as we really got into the issues of the charter right now, there weren't any major changes that we were looking at. Several topics came up and it led to lengthy discussions, but they had done a nice job at the last review getting everything set nice. So just a few minor updates that that group felt was important. And I don't have a list of who all was on the charter review. I know we had to approve it when we first put that group together. So at some point, a couple years ago, that was announced at a public meeting. But do you happen to have that?
Yes, I do.
It'd just be nice to maybe give them credit for the time they spent meeting.
On behalf of council, we would like to thank Krista Carpenter, Jack Scudmore, Bill O'Brien, Paul Johnson, Chris Long, Bob Herron, Andy Grafflin, former Mayor Michael Coate, who was then subsequently replaced by Mayor Fred Francis, and also Vice Mayor Jason Tinnerman.
And Lene.
Oh, and Lene, sorry. Well, Lene and I served as staff to the commission.
And I would just like to reiterate, they did have several meetings. As Vice Mayor Tinnerman said, lengthy discussions were held. From reviewing the minutes, a lot of good discussion in regards to different parts of the charter, and he's absolutely right. The previous Charter Commission did a wonderful job. This Charter Commission did a fabulous job, very thorough. As you can see, it took some time to go through that because it took it very serious, because it's not something you want to just change because you can. It's something that takes a lot of thought and process, so I appreciate everyone's time on that. And if there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
Cobb?
Yes.
Vogel?
Yes.
Tinnerman?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Dorman?
Yes.
Grudich?
Yes.
And Mayor Francis.
Yes. Ordinance CM-15-29 is hereby approved. Outstanding. Moving on to the municipal manager's report. Manager Klein.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council, and guests. Only a few items tonight. One's a repeat from last month. The Miami County Solid Waste is having an upcoming event. They're having their Miami County Electronics Recycling Drop-Off. It's an annual event. It will take place on Saturday, August 29th from 8 in the morning till noon. The drop-off will be held at the County Sanitary Engineering Building, which is at 2200 County Road 25A in Troy. Instead of landfilling your electronics, they're asking that you can recycle them through the Goodwill Easter Seals of Miami Valley program. This is a free drop-off event with the exception of a charge for the disposal of cathode, never said that right last month either, ray tubes or CRT televisions, the old TVs with the tubes. CRT televisions that are 36 inches or less will be charged $5. Who am I kidding? You guys are so young, you don't remember tube TVs. So. Anything over 36 inches will be $10. Only cash will be accepted. Flat screen televisions along with computers and CPUs, monitors, DVD players, VCRs, cell phones, laptops, miscellaneous computer equipment will be accepted for free. I would strongly urge if you have an 8-track tape player, try to sell that instead of throwing it away.
Manager Klein would love to see that first.
I do. So would you like to see it?
Heck, I still listen to my turntable, so. You
what?
remember that? It's vinyl. It's these things called records or
Yeah.
albums.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
One of those? They're coming back.
If you have any questions about the program, they can be answered by calling 440-3488, or you can just call the city manager's office here. It's 698-1500. Angie will be happy to answer your questions. One notice, a serious note. Everyone may be familiar with CareFlight. CareFlight is a very important ingredient to our safety and health of our residents. They will be having a rehearsal this week and it will be here in West Milton, and it will be here right outside at our parking lot right next to Dewar Drive. The Care Flight helicopter will be making a practice run in conjunction with our fire department and police department. They will be landing the craft, as I said, at the parking lot right here on Dewar. Dewar Drive will be closed on both ends. We'll have everything prepped and ready. I know the fire department has been going to the local businesses, the area businesses that may be affected by it, to let them know. We're trying to get the word out around this particular main area, but I thought it was important to at least announce it to council before you start getting phone calls as to who was sick and what happened. It is only a practice flight and a practice run, and it will be Thursday evening. So I'm sure Councilman Dorman will probably hear that when it comes over his house.
May come down and watch it.
Exciting news, and I probably shouldn't, the forecast for this entire week is supposed to be sunshine, so if it rains this week, just blame me, because I'm going to announce that our crews have been working on the disc golf course. The first time I announced this, it rained the entire month of June, I think, right? They do have the holes are dug and the bases are concreted in, okay? The baskets are being built and hopefully should be finished by tomorrow and then hung. It will be a 9-hole course. Ben and I will then be going and doing something very similar to what Inglewood did. If you're familiar with the Inglewood Park, they've got rubber mats. We felt that that was the least expensive way of being able to get the course up and running. Hopefully, over the course of time, we'll be able to afford some maybe concrete pads. But for right now, we'll be doing some rubber mats. They're about 3 feet wide, Ben, and maybe 6 feet long. We'll be putting those into the ground as the tee boxes. And then over the next couple weeks, we'll be putting, and be patient, but we'll be putting some directional signs at each tee box, and probably a little sign at each hole letting you know where to go for the next tee box. If you've ever done this, and I've done this quite a bit, it's very frustrating when you go to a course that you're not familiar with, playing it the very first time and not knowing where you're going. So we hope to be able to make it easier for those who are not going to be familiar the very first time they do the course. We've laid it out ourselves. I feel confident in saying that it's challenging. It's not overly long. I have been on courses that are 400 feet long or 500 feet long, and ridiculous because I can't throw the disc that far. But it's a lot of fun, and I hope it's very exciting. I would like to recommend, because it will be up and running by August 25th, which is 2 weeks from now, I'm just suggesting, and if council's in agreement, we should ask the clerk to announce this at the press, but I would suggest that we have our workshop at the park, weather permitting, maybe perhaps at the Rotary picnic shelter, which happens to be right next to the first hole. And then you would be able to, after the workshop, play on the course. It's just a suggestion.
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
That's good.
Well, if council would like to do that, perhaps you make a motion asking the clerk to go ahead and tell the press that we'll have the workshop there.
Everybody's looking at me.
I'll make a motion that for the August workshop meeting, the 25th, we change the location from council chambers to the Rotary shelter in the park, weather permitting.
I second that.
Standing council, there is a motion duly seconded to move the location of the August 25th workshop from council chambers to the Rotary shelter in the park, weather permitting, and knock on wood, everything's done on the disc golf course. Is there any discussion?
I just have one question to ask in reference to this. Since we are making this announcement that we're going to move it to the Rotary, is there any way that we can bump up the time, or are we not able to do that? Because I'm just saying that because lately our council meetings have ran about 2.5 to 3 hours. So if we start at 7:30, that's going to be 10:30. We're not going to be able to do that. So if we start at 6:30.
The mosquitoes might drive us out
Right,
quick.
if we start at 6:30, that gives us a little bit of an extra hour leeway time. So if everybody's okay with that.
My only concern with that would be if someone shows up here not knowing the announcement that we moved, they could still, we can have a sign posted on the door, they can still make the meeting. If we meet an hour early, they're going to miss the meeting. I understand what you're saying, but that's a...
We don't have to have that level, of course.
One option for that would be if council wanted to have a special meeting at 6:30 to review the disc golf course and then start the workshop at 7:30.
That would be fine.
Just play first.
Play first and before, because if you wanted to play at 9:30, 10 o'clock, it's going to be dark, and the mosquitoes will have dinner. So,
I like that idea.
okay, then we
Mosquitoes
will
may take
need,
your discs.
let's finish this motion, and then we'll get to the second one. Okay, I'll roll call for the motion to move the location for the workshop on the August 25th from council chambers to Rotary Shelter in the park. Roll call, please.
Cop,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Tinnerman,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Francis.
Yes. Now, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to call for a special council meeting starting at 6:30 on August 25th for the purpose of reviewing the disc golf course and any other park items that may come up during that time.
So moved.
Second.
For you is a motion for what I just said. Duly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Cop,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Tinnerman,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Francis.
Yes. Outstanding. Both of those
I-
pass.
I do have one little item, but before I get to that, perhaps Councilman Vogel would like to make a plug for Wirtz's Hardware?
Oh, yes, yeah, sure. I talked to PJ Wirtz, Wirtz's Hardware, and they are the only location in town that I know of that is selling discs for the disc golf course. They just got those priced. I think I was the first one to go out and purchase those for my son yesterday for his 10th birthday. So please go up to Wirtz's Hardware if you're interested in taking up the sport and learning a little bit more about disc golf. They have them, I know they price range, I think they start at $550 and go on up, which is very reasonable for the disc to start out. It's a very fun sport, so I think you would enjoy it. It's great for family. And I know that,
Free.
yes, that's right. And I know that they will have a sign for us that we can put out on the course as well. It's a nice grommeted sign that we can put up that says where they got the disc from, and a little plug that we could put out there as well, that you can get them from Wirtz's, so, thank you.
Might be a nice area by the first tee box to put it right there, because it'd be really close to Wirtz's. Okay. I'll have Ben get with PJ on the sign.
Okay, thank you.
Real fast on one thing. On August 25th, in conjunction with the workshop, I just wanted to announce that we will be holding a special session of council to go into an executive session, so I'm glad we're doing the disc golf course first, because we do have one item we need to talk about in an executive session that night.
Oh, okay.
So,
Thank you. Only one other thing, I don't have a full report for you. That we did have our garbage refuse bids were opened last week. I thank Ben for being the acting manager last week and for taking care of the bid opening. We only had two, we did invite up to 10 haulers. We only had 2 haulers that participated, the 2 big boys, Waste Management and Rumpke. I've only had a cursory review of both, and I'm comfortable in saying that the prices will not go up. I don't know which one to recommend yet, but the prices will stay, at a minimum, should stay the same. Waste Management's bid appears to be, for the first 3 years, to be exactly the same as it is today. No increase. Rumpke has submitted the alternative, an alternative bid, which I'm not comfortable in saying what that alternative bid is because I haven't read to understand it yet. But it is slightly lower, but I'm not sure if I fully understand that bid until I talk to them. So I just wanted to let you know that they have been opened. I've only done a cursory review. I'll do a full review, and we'll have a report for you at the workshop at the August meeting in between holes 3 and 4.
As long as it's past 7:30.
Yes.
Outstanding. Are there any questions for the municipal manager on his report from council? All right. Is there any old business council would like to bring up at this time? Okay. Just like to remind everyone that the fall fling is around the corner. Is there a date set for that, Manager Klein?
The September 19th, it's the third Saturday in September, and believe it starts at 4 in the afternoon and runs till 8 in the evening.
Thank you. As you'll notice, there's a little bit difference with the fall fling this year on the times. We'll get into more of that as more details come through on the fall fling. We'll pass that information along. Is there any new business council would like to address at this time?
Just have one plug to throw out there. Next Wednesday, we'll have a park board meeting here at 6:30 in the council chambers. So if anybody wants to participate, we'll be here for the park board meeting.
Just a reminder, the Miami County Fair is coming up too. I don't know if nobody knows the dates, but
I think it starts
Friday. I
Friday.
will be there face painting if anybody wants to cover my booth.
When will you be face painting?
12 to 4.
On Friday?
Yes. And I think it's free.
I'm scared.
Do you have something to say about that?
Not a thing, Councilwoman. All right, any other new business? Any comments by citizens this evening? Crickets. Bob? Bob? Can you please state your name for the record?
Brief announcement regarding our affiliate Dayton Power and Light. DP&L implements various planned programs to enhance reliability. One of those programs is to look at some of their transmission lines. They will be investigating and looking at a transmission line that is from West Milton heading south towards Union into Inglewood. So there will be some individuals out walking that line. Therefore, they will send letters to residents to let them know what they are going to be doing. I don't know how many of the individuals or residents of West Milton will receive that letter, but I just wanted to make a little bit of an announcement and give a heads up on that in case somebody does get something. And I believe they're going to start that very soon, so it could either be the latter part of this week or sometime into next week. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Any other comments from citizens this evening? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.
You should pick a different letter. Everybody in favor say.
Say you.
Yeah, you.
Say
I think I'm saying R. They all sound like pirates.